My Weird New Life. I wrote this piece entitled My Weird New Life on the 6th of March 2025, 2 months ago as I write this paragraph. So much has evolved over 2 months. The highway incident happened in the beginning of December 2024, last year. I started living at Billy's at the beginning of April 2024, so was hacked around that time. The Dingleford incident happened at the beginning of October 2024, and the Thailand incident happened near the end of that month. The incident at Nyos happened about 2 weeks after Thailand. I went home from the MHU about a week before Christmas. I spent nearly 3 months at my parents' place. I now live in a flat on a beautiful tropical island off the North Queensland coast. Life is so much better. The following was documenting my period of adjustment. I wrote it while I was visiting the island that I now live on. I was still paranoid and haunted about being hunted. I stayed that way right up until only about 3 weeks ago now. Something changed and I'll talk about it on here. So here's a snapshot of my life 2 months ago. I'm on Seroquel and Lexapro. I just upped my Sero to 400 milligrams. Will this affect the human experiment that I've been forced into? I know it's bad to still use my 50-cent coin to communicate with who I think are either my ancestors or some alien guardian angels who I originally descended from. I know that's bizarre. I can't explain it. I'm not a crackpot. Yet I did use the 50 cent. I don't want to use the coin to make decisions anymore. I found that I made perfectly good decisions that got me out of all the troubles I've faced recently. Troubles, more like life and death survival situations. Anyway, the coin came back tails for no. These drugs don't affect the experiment. Damn, not happy about that. The calming effect that they're trialling on me, probably for soldiers in the future, similar concept but not same reaction to meth for kamikaze soldiers in the Japanese military, will still work as planned. I'm only guessing, of course, for absolutely all of this. And my guess is the calmness is to stop me from panicking and trying to tell police or anyone else who could truly help me. I'm helping them by going along with a psychotic episode diagnosis. It keeps me safe. Fuck you evil, greedy males and females behind this. I'll continue to try to live on my knees instead of dying on my feet. I should be so angry and despairing of being put in this situation. I guess the drugs, and especially their brainwave interference, is keeping me from appropriately reacting to this. Yet having me in the world is a revenge of sorts. After all, I was probably going to end up buried on Billy's property once they were done with experimenting on my head. This fucking Abilify is messing with me. It's a new drug that they've put me on that they're trying to swap me over to from the Seroquel. I don't like it. Apart from the fact that I'm so gummed up that I don't have an appetite anymore. Maybe that's what they meant when they said it doesn't give you the hunger that Seroquel does. Pretty extreme. I read that it gives you anxiety. I have been getting anxiety. The usual fucking, but something else. A general terror about just anything. I'll go to do something and worry that I'll fuck it up. I've not been like that on Seroquel alone. I'm fucking terrific on that because I've had a good night's sleep and I'm still experiencing the serotonin effects the next morning. I'm happy to take more Seroquel. As it is, I'm waking up at 3 or 4 a.m. and because I'm so keen to do things lately, sometimes I get up and write. This fucks me up a bit body clock-wise. Insomnia is one of the side effects. Oh, and headaches. I had a day of them recently. Too early to be my hormone one. And fizzy stomach, slight nausea. Yep, you guessed it, another side effect. I'll see if I can quit it. They'll probably make me keep doing it to see if it improves. Ugh. I've just realised that the people who say I have mood swings are fucking narcissistic. My friend Rachel has mood swings. Mom has mood swings. They just don't like when I challenge them, that's all. There's nothing wrong with me except depression because of who I'm surrounded by. I'm on an island off the coast of North Queensland having a holiday. I'm with my parents as usual. I'm worried about all these backpackers coming to the island. Are they all the Israeli princesses showing up? If it is, I'll have my chance at revenge. For revenge is living your life. And I am. Fuck them. I'm sure the backpackers bar I'm going to tonight will welcome my presence. If I get upset by people, I can leave and they'll regret it. I'm a fucking star. I'm a someone walking amongst the no ones. And what if it's the really unfortunate situation that I am both bipolar and part of a human experiment that is persecuting me? If this is so, then I really need to congratulate myself. I know it's not a good look to stan oneself, but I'm going to anyway. I'm a fucking legend to have managed to go through all of those most terrifying things. From the Dingleford bullying to the Loy Hotel rape and possible murder plot, the Jewish and Trump voting Americans, the weird smug cult members, the botched Bangkok kidnapping, the drug planting prior to arrival at Sydney Airport, the ordeal at Adrian's and his subsequent betrayal, the Western Sydney gangsters hunting me on the highway, the realisation that Billy is in on it and possibly engineered it, the betrayal of that, all the zombies hunting me on the highway, the realisation that Theodore and his cohort were in on it and possible engineers of it, the highway siege I carried out successfully, the cruel cops in the watch house, another rape plot in the hospital, a possible rape in the hospital, the mental health unit in general, the overheard kidnapping plot in that place that I couldn't leave voluntarily, to the last straw where I was thinking I was clear of it all and those incel fuckheads verbally abusing me outside that Biwa pub on the drive home. It was no wonder that last one unseated me so much. I'd kept it cool for all the others, so something had to give. Well, except for the highway siege. That was understandable. I had to lose my bottle because of everything that had happened previously. I'd been very cool, very staunch, considering I'm mentally unwell. I've had zero support throughout this whole thing. Well, maybe Alice, but she really wasn't in a position to help me, and I wouldn't have been able to trust her anyway. This is why I sometimes subscribe to the theory that I'm immortal, not in a live forever kind of way, more in an alien kind of way. I'm not like other people. My mood swings might merely be frustration at the thought patterns, reactions, and limitations of mere mortals around me. I need to be kinder, more understanding, because I can take on a lot more than others, and lately I have. I hope to Goddess none of this is true, that I'm just bog standard, late stage bipolar. I'm even happy to go along with this. It's a lot easier to live with than the hypervigilance I was living with before. Maybe I can try a combination of both. I am mentally ill, so there's nothing that looks like it's a threat to me will be carried out to completion. I am in an augmented reality, and I have mood stabilizers and antidepressant meds to keep me calm in the face of such terror, should it ever be activated again. I've also been doing things that increase my self-esteem, such as my weird little crafty hobbies, riding my motorcycle more skillfully than I ever have, writing this book and not feeling bored and trapped in a place that I've previously felt a great depression while living in. I'm nailing life right now. Enjoy it while it lasts. I pray to the Goddess that it will last, and I will go and live on my own again in the bright lights big city. Even if I am a hermit, I might get a cat and be a crazy cat lady rider. How glorious it would be. Living with bipolar disorder to everyone around me, while internally knowing that I'm definitely the subject of a human experiment, one that seems to have unlimited budget, and I'm an escapee from it at that. I should be panicking all the time, every day, and if I did, ironically, I'd be deemed to be having a bipolar episode. No. I have to carry myself like a queen, a fugitive, a soldier, a rebel that needs to outsmart, outmaneuver, outhuman these monsters. I won't outlive them, but I can die when I choose and how. I can out-euthanize them. And because everything in human suffering contains some kind of silver lining, people attribute that to God, but it's all human spirit. I love that they've given me this story to write that I'm working on now. Of course it's all they're doing, all their design, their plot, their characters, their dollars. But it's my story, and I'll tell it how I like. I really hope I can release it. And I have to remember, I'm already cluey in dangerous situations. The Melbourne party where they tried to get me into the alien dimension to do evil things. And particularly, most relevantly, my lucky escape from the Guinean criminals in Khao San Road, Thailand, that time. All the precautions I had to take to get myself safely out of Thailand, that was all me. There were no calming brainwaves. I knew not to trust cops. I had no proof for status. And I now know how easily corrupted they are. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I can't take responsibility for gangland killings. If it was spun like that, I'd be some kind of mafia queen. They don't want me to have that much power, that much agency, that much respect in the criminal world. It's all the fault of the superdorks who don't give a fuck how much they risk the innocent public. In the case of Sydney and its surrounds, if the innocent public isn't that innocent, but in fact greedy zombies, then even I don't give a fuck if they're caught up in gangland wars. And members of the public would put two and two together and realise this game is affecting their safety. They wouldn't have a care for my safety, but the risk to their safety would have them questioning the game. I don't do anything. I have no meaningful creative hobbies anymore. I watch a lot of series on streaming. I barely read full books anymore. I have been chronically online with social media informing me about the world outside. I'm no longer even on them because I'm fearful of apps being hacked. I present to the world as a mentally unwell shut-in. I have all this against me. Despite all this, I'm still an interesting person. I'm not blowing my own trumpet or positive affirmationing myself into believing this. I arrive at this conclusion because of the reactions of some of those around me. I stay away from certain locals in my small town because they're too curious about me. How and why is this? I think it means I'm a force to be reckoned with without even trying. Those who try so hard to be interesting people just aren't. And me, who tries to live quietly, ends up on the news. Ends up with a life story that's far more interesting than all the series I've watched. More interesting than the series they watched too. I had a funny thought while I was making a macchiato this morning. My thoughts flow fast from one to the other, usually ending up in a hot take. I'm always mesmerised by the beautiful hot stream of crema flowing onto the teaspoon, covered in sticky condensed milk. I aim to melt it off the spoon so it all goes into the coffee. I wondered if the viewers were equally satisfied by watching the coffee each morning, every morning, like those YouTube clips that bring visual satisfaction. ASMR for the eyes. And if viewers weren't bored by it, I wondered if some of them decided to try condensed milk in their coffee. The interesting thing about human nature, even though they spy on me like the Truman Show, even though they aren't fans of me reveling in invading my privacy, maybe they pick up things that I do and copy them out of curiosity. That would make me laugh. I inspire them despite their ill intentions. They don't realise that it's happening to them, but they can't help it due to the human nature of copying others. Like copying any daily routine videos that influencers consensually share and millions of viewers consume. This is my hot take. I know it's optimistic to think of myself as an influencer, but my life is such a predictable routine at the moment. Drink coffee, smoke durries, eat the same breakfast, get fed yummy food from my mother, do some artwork, do some technical models, watch Netflix, do my exercise routine, do my 10 laps of the pool, watch Handmaid's Tale, enjoy the narcotic effects of my meds. The viewers would have to find something amongst all this to interest them, if they are still tuning in, that is. When I was younger, I always had this thing where I'd imagine that some male who I was crushing on, I was always crushing on some male, I didn't grow out of that till well into my 40s, was watching and witnessing the things I did, and he was impressed by them and desired me. It was usually hard to get males. I can't be blamed for being like that. So many males and girls and young women, hell even older women, desire the challenge. I realise now it's from emotional neglect in the family and wanting to recreate the challenge of getting someone to love me, which would heal the childhood neglect. This is what pisses off the nice guys. They show attention to a woman and get angry when it's not reciprocated, not being self-aware enough that they too are chasing after hard-to-get women. Although it has to be said that we're happy to be platonic friends with them and show the affection that we give to our female friends. Hard-to-get males don't want to be our platonic friends unless they are stringing us along for their own ego satisfaction. We are the superior gender because of this, and it took me years to realise that males aren't impressed by the things I want them to be impressed by, because they are usually skill, sense of humour, spontaneous adventuring that they want to impress women with. So my efforts to impress them were never going to work. I'm glad I didn't enter into a heteronormative LTR. My past ones were never about how impressed my partner was with me. They stifled me. Beyond wanting to fuck us, they want to be us. They are jealous of our connections with other women, our ability to gain male attention and worship with our looks, our ability to wrap males around our finger with flirting, and our huge capacity for sexual pleasure that they just don't have. So I'm kind of enjoying the notion that I'm being watched by males. For what if they are males who are fully curious and enjoying what it's like to live in a female body, to have female thoughts, and most importantly, to experience the female orgasm? This is my other hot take for the day. From using Instagram, I have desired influencer status. Who doesn't? For we all want human validation. When I used to document my now deleted Insta account, 7 years of photographs of so many great adventures I had, I can't regret that. At least I did the adventures. I found myself searching for photo opportunities like any photography lover, but I also looked for them in the context of a witty post. My creativity and sense of humour was for others, not for my own photographic record of my life, my travels. This way of thinking tends to take away the enjoyment out of seeing a beautiful landscape through our own eyes. We look at it through our phone's eyes. It's our data record, not our life record. And if I wasn't getting the likes I expected, I probably avoided making a certain kind of post. I was a slave to content creation, and I didn't even have that many followers. Influencers live their life like this, and so many eventually have a breakdown and go dark. Getting paid for it would be a better motivator than just likes. But this would bring a whole lot of pressure to make popular content and keep making bank. Influencers are all slaves to Meta. Fuck that shit. So I do prefer to live on my own terms, as sheltered as my life may be. I rode my motorcycle yesterday and the day before. When I got out on the highway, I threw caution to the wind a little. I guess my risky behaviour has returned because of my near-death experience. I don't think I'm scared of having an accident, a part of me believing that I'll be safe in a bike stack, just like I've been safe from gangsters, from rapists, from the human experiment zombies. I better be careful. At one stage yesterday while I was riding, I got this sudden feeling that I was riding for the very first time. I was feeling that exhilaration as a new rider. It's been 19 years since I got my license, but I still remember the feeling. My hot take went like this. A subscriber to my life had paid extra to experience riding as a non-rider. Because of this, I really had to concentrate in case they made a dangerous decision. Like sitting in the passenger seat of a learner driver car and being able to operate the brakes from a pedal installed in the foot compartment. If true, I hope they got their money's worth. I've always wanted to teach new learners how to ride. But only women. I doubt this subscriber was a woman. I wonder how many are.